Good morning, guys. I've just finished The World Without End by Ken Follett. It is in the Kingsbridge series. It's the sequel to Pillars of the Earth, which I think was my last book review. This one took a while to read because I had been so busy. So I pretty much read, it was up to 684 pages when I was on holidays. And then when I got back from holidays, I had to return it from I had to put it back into the library. And then I had to wait for the queue. There was like a queue of 3 people that were reading it, so I had to wait maybe like 2 months. And then I could finish it up. So I kind of read it in 2 different parts. And yeah, I finished it last night. So reading this, Pillars of the Earth was absolutely amazing. And I feel like it was one of those books where when you're reading it, you kind of think, okay, this is probably, it's in my top 3 favourite books ever read. Like, it was so beautifully written. But when I picked up this book and I started reading this book, it just gave me the exact same feeling. I'm not much of a series reader. I don't think I have read any series. I usually kind of just read the same author, and then I'll just go through their individual books, but never a series. Reading the series has been really good because when you do find a book that you love so much, and then to find out that it's a series, then you can't get enough of it already. So being able to read multiple books really feeds that satisfaction. So yeah, World Without End pretty much revolves around 4 people. So they're kind of the more mainer characters. We're reading through their perceptions, but as well as other characters. But yeah, it's kind of revolving around these 4 characters. So it's 2 girls and 2 boys. I might just quickly read out this blurb so you guys can get an idea. I really like how Ken Follett writes, especially how he portrays his female characters. A lot of his female characters are always very independent. Like his main character here, Karis is a very independent person. He has made her very hard-headed, sure of herself, very curious, questioning, these certain customs and these certain standards with men and women, and that was like the same as Lady Elena in Pillars of the Earth, which I found so refreshing to read. Ken Follett being a male author, and then writing about these women who are so independent. That's probably one of my favourite things that I do like about Ken Follett. I'm really excited to read this 3rd book, which is A Column of Fire, just over there. But I will give you a quick read of the blurb. It's 1327 and 4 children slip away from the cathedral city of Kingsbridge. It is All Hallows Day, and their lives are forever changed when they see 2 men-at-arms killed. At the behest of a man responsible, they vow never to speak of it again. Lives forever intertwined. One boy travels the world, one eye always on Kingsbridge, the other becomes a powerful, corrupt nobleman. One girl defies the might of the medieval church, while the other pursues an impossible love. As ambition, love, greed, revenge, and reign, those living under that long-ago day's fateful shadow wait. So they've also got the Black Plague that sweeps through England, or goes throughout all of Europe. So it kind of starts in Europe and then it goes through to England. And well, in my head I'm watching, because I'm visualizing whenever I'm reading, but in my head I'm watching all of these characters, and there's a point where they're all totally separated from one another in England and Europe, and then it's like a magnetic field, they're constantly being brought back to Kingsbridge, which is kind of the core. In Ken Follett's world, Kingsbridge is obviously the core, and they're always being tied back. Also, another great thing is, when I started Pillars of the Earth, Kingsbridge was such a small little village. It had nothing. It didn't really have anything going for it, and then until Prior Philip moved in and he got the wheels moving, and now reading this, sound so majestic. I won't spoil the end, but the cathedral is, it's just becoming magnificent. This village is like a little city now. Um, so yeah, that was the Ken Follett review. It was just a very brief review. Um, I would like to do, when I read all of the series, I'll do a more in-depth review, kind of going through each book properly, and then being able to talk about the series as a whole, and um, I'll be doing like a more spoiler one for people who have just read all of it and want to have a look at the review, because sometimes it's hard when you're doing reviews and you're not actually able to talk about what went on and your thoughts on like the plot twists and different things like that. So I'll do a more thorough book review with the whole series. But I definitely recommend this book. I definitely recommend all of the Kingsbridge series. As I said, I'm going to read Column of the Fire, and then I think there's a fourth one. But yeah, that was it.